I'm Dirichi Amadi. I am the careers coach for our internationally educated nurses and midwives within Sheffield Teaching Hospital. So we do recognise that there's a large number of our internationally educated nurses and midwives who have been senior nurses and managers, etc. So my role is actually to help with that progression and that retention part of things, and ensuring that they have the right materials and resources to actually facilitate their career progressions. Career conversations are always encouraged once individuals have passed their NMC, OSCEs, and also receive their NMC pins as well. We do interview them, and then we select a handful number of people depending on how successful they have been within the interview. We also, from that moment, that's where the sort of induction employment sort of starts from. We do a lot of run through with them, sort of negotiating, letting them know what to sort of expect. We also sort of ask them within their own preferences and within their own expertise and experience, which areas that they would be more likely to prefer to work in. And then we sort of match that within the areas that we have, and then we sort of decide on their placements. And then they are told well on time which wards or which departments that they have been placed on before they actually get to us. And then we do have the arrivals as well. So our lead nurse is actually the one that sort of facilitates the arrivals. So she does meet them in their accommodation, which we provide for 3 months, and then we ensure that we do a run through of the area and the city more or less. And then we also provide them with a week worth of food products, and we also give them ideas of where to sort of approach or where to go to. And when we say food, is actually more like, you know, more of their own actual cultural food, because we do believe that obviously, you know, homesickness and all that stuff does sort of account to lack of support, and that is things that we do try to provide for them as well. So we do give them approximately 3 or 4 days to explore the city, enjoy and see what it brings really. And then the next week, we then bring them in for their induction, which would last for a week. So they have sort of like a generic induction with our team, because we are the recruitment team. We run through sort of like the welcome pack. They also get a welcome booklet. So that actually includes a lot of information, who to contact if they need any help. They also have, you know, things like, you know, making them aware of areas that they can go to. We also sort of make them aware of the differences in terms of weather, the accents. We also add in some, you know, sort of some, you know, words or slangs that we might use that they might not be aware of. So that is just for their own familiarity as well. We also put pictures of trams, buses, and, you know, that way they can get around to areas and give them a bit of that independence as well. We also provide them with the HR information in terms of if they need any help as well with their accommodation, if there's anything that's not within what they want it to be. So we do ensure that we have someone in hand that can easily sort of, you know, go into their accommodation and help out where necessary. So when they get to us, we do obviously the induction. We also do like a local induction as well. So that's where the clinical educators also come in play, where they provide them with their own departmental training. So ensuring that they are sort of aware of, you know, basic things that they can sort of understand from the area. Around that area, we also introduce the OSCEs as well. So we provide them with the OSCE workbooks, ensuring that they are at least familiar with it. But however, they are also entitled to 2 weeks worth of OSCE training, but we don't do those till they've at least, you know, based, you know, for a moment of time really within their department. So sometimes they could come in and they would stay approximately 2-3 months in the department before we then start the OSCE training. And that is also obviously to facilitate and get them into the work ethics on how the trust works and most of the policies, and also get them to have the opportunities as well to work with other nurses and midwives as well within their departments. Before they actually get to their OSCE trainings, they've already sort of familiarized themselves around the city. We do also have some individuals that are quite independent enough to actually go off to other cities and visit families and stuff like that. So that familiarity actually makes it a lot more better for them to then start their OSCE training, and that way they feel like they actually are aware of their surroundings and they don't have that amount of pressure from the OSCE as well that can also obviously cause more of a concern. And you know, I think if we were to introduce that OSCE straight away, it would be that sense of pressure and that sense of, oh my God, you know, we've been thrown into that deep end, and that's something that we try to avoid to do. We sort of want to ensure that they actually sort of see us as almost like a family, and we also remind them to sort of see us as also friends. So we do obviously provide pastoral care. We do have group chats as well where they can ask questions. And we also currently, what we do now is we ensure that we actually buddy them up before they arrive. So we have a group where it's STH for all international nurses and midwives, and before their actual arrivals, we ask, you know, certain individuals if they're happy to be buddies for anybody, and then we pair them up, and that way they actually have someone who speaks the same language, have been here before, have gone through exactly the same sort of procedure, have passed their OSCEs, and they do have that person that they can lean on. And we do understand that we are here to support, but sometimes you do find that it gives a lot more of that comfort and that confidence when you're actually seeking or getting that help from someone that speaks exactly the same language as you and definitely knows your position, because they have been in that same position as well as you have been. So that's something that we've actually introduced very recently. As soon as they pass their OSCEs and they've received their NMC pins, we highly encourage them to start that career conversations with us. And this is more or less to actually get them into, you know, having, you know, thinking about their preferences or what they're interested in. And just like you said, we do have quite a lot of nurses and midwives who have been nurses for 10, 15 years. And obviously what we don't want to do is remove those experiences that they've already have or even damp it down. So we do have that career conversations. We also remind them of the ability to transfer departments if wishing to do so, but this is mainly when they've been in the post for a year. That way they're already familiar with the actual department and also the trust in itself. We have also got the accelerated preceptorship program. So this sort of facilitates career workshops, it facilitates self-directed studies, and also gives them opportunities as well to buddy up with other nurses within their departments. So for me, when I started the role, I started signposting job vacancies on a weekly basis to their emails. So as well as signposting these things, we do understand that they do also need that help and support with the procedure, and they are not used to the application form or their personal statements, and you do come across that they are more used to CVs, which is drastically different to a personal statement. So I obviously support them with the actual application process. So I look at their actual application form, I get them to download it, and I review it, highlighting areas and putting comments for areas for adjustments, obviously depending on the individual's preference to adhere to those adjustments to be completed. I also review their personal statements, but before I do so, I actually provide them with RCN sort of materials and give them idea to independently write their own personal statement, and that way it gives me an idea to see what their potential actually is, and then I extend it by giving them more idea in areas where they have been successful for interviews. I then conduct one-to-one sessions. I do interview preps with them. I do potential questions that could come out. I also do mock interviews, so I do a run through with them. And then what I do find a lot is I tend to do quite a lot of confidence building with them, and that's something that you do come across a lot. So during induction, we introduced the revalidation, which is something that we have to do by the NMC, and that's every 3 years. Now, we do understand that coming to that 3 years, most people would forget or they do not know. And let's be honest, they've never actually completed one before. So we give them that extensive support. I do the one-to-one, explain each and every part of the documentation, giving them potential ideas of examples that they can actually put in, obviously tallying with their experiences. And then another thing that I also ensure that I do is also providing them with the right authorized personnel that they can have these discussions with. And a lot of the time that would be their line manager or maybe their child nurses in the absence of the line manager as well. So one-to-one supports are always provided. So this can either be in person or via MS Teams. It all depends on the individual's preferences. When I started, I decided to collect data from last year, and there was a total number of 7 individuals who progressed from band 5 into band 6, but this was in a period of 12 months. But since I started in January, I have managed to get 6 people from band 5 into band 6, and this has been within a period of 3 months. So from this angle, there has been a lot of progression, and we are actually noticing a lot of people wanting that progression for themselves as well. So I've taken that initiative to now start conducting career workshops. I conduct revalidation workshops and also application workshops as well. And so far, I have been fully booked for 2 sessions now. So and I have got more planned every month till October. And obviously this will definitely come. So from my perspective, I greatly think that Stay and Thrive on its own has, been doing an enormous and fabulous work. And this can be sort of spoken about actually by the international nurses that we've had way before we started this recruitment in 2019. So what they do is they don't look at just the recruitment part of things. They don't look at just the pastoral part of things. They also think about the thriving aspects of things, ensuring that everyone is actually included in that sort of progressive part of NHS that we do provide for everyone else. They also ensure that there's that great retention sort of ability as well for everyone, and that just to give them that sense of comfort in their work ethics and in where they work, and giving them that opportunity that there is that potential for them to go way beyond what they are expected to do. As well as providing that career progression, I've actually taken the initiative to become the health and wellbeing champion within our team. And that simply sort of yielded from me noticing that a lot of people that I actually provide that support for are actually needing more than that career progressions. You do find that a lot of people are going through, things that actually affect their work ethics and how they actually practice. So, things such as delayed visas and, are waiting for that dependency visa to be approved. And if you do not have that support system, who is their partner, their spouse around them, that does have a knock-on effect on their performance. So that is why I took that initiative to then become a health and wellbeing champion. And this mainly actually provides them with that support and makes them feel like it's not just about that career progression that I can have that conversation with. I can actually have more than that conversation and actually speak up about what I'm going through, what can we do to support. Now, obviously my role is not to give that psychological support, but I'm here to obviously signpost them and give them the areas and places and services and, places that they can access for their own, well-being